Hello.
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 Hi.
So, welcome to the final official episode, I would say, of the ForLoco podcast.
Before we get a spin-off series.
Yes. I'm Paulie.
I'm Austin.
I'm Nick.
And we're joined by our very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Michael.
Michael
Dwyer. Oh, yeah. All the values in the last name. Michael Dwyer is a professor of mine in Austin. We've had him for 4 years, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think I've taken a Michael Dwyer class all 4 years I've been at Arcadia. Was the same for you?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay,
Can't upstage me.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take Intro to Film with me, Austin?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah, we're going to retcon history and say yes.
Oh, wait. You actually took it with
No,
Deshpande?
I took it
Okay,
with
I actually did take it with Michael.
Right, that was the first year I showed Whiplash.
Yeah, well, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Also, what's the animated one that I always forget the name of?
Persepolis.
That's a good movie. Nick has never had a Michael Dwyer class, unfortunately.
No, because
he's a history major.
Well, also you are I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a ForLoco super fan, so I've heard you a lot.
Ooh.
So I know about your student teaching and your antipathy for communist states.
Yeah, I really lost that argument.
He's met the man himself. He's a big fan of yours.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Michael's. I've heard so much about him.
Wow. It's an auspicious occasion. I'm very happy.
So Nick, how have you been lately?
Oh, it's been an interesting time.
All right, well, good. I'm glad you have some stories to relay.
Well, now I'm lost.
Okay, great.
Well, just right before we went on air, I was talking about how there's a conspiracy with Giant, the food store. So for our viewers who don't know, Giant is a grocery store, competes with Acme and Walmart and all of them.
Who doesn't know Giant?
People who don't live in this state.
A surprising number of people.
Okay, that's a fair
what
point.
about the people in Hawaii?
Yeah,
our viewers in Hawaii.
Exactly. All
and
one
Texas.
viewer in Hawaii. We need to make sure everyone's in.
Okay.
Well, anyway, they used to sell Idaho potatoes. I don't think they do anymore since I quit. But they advertise them as Idaho potatoes, and they're only from Idaho. I found out while I was working there that they're just regular potatoes that they put the Idaho label on. They're from potatoes from Pennsylvania.
Disgraceful.
Yeah, it's actually just a name brand that we call it. They're not actually from Idaho. And it was this huge big conspiracy because they were $1 more expensive.
Shameful.
That makes sense. Have any of you ever played the Super Monkey Ball video games?
How do you go from potatoes to
No,
that?
listen, I have a point here. Chiquita bananas?
Yes.
So in that game, your goal is to collect bananas as a monkey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Naturally.
And
As in
all of the bananas are Chiquita bananas. Apparently they went to all the banana companies and were like, "Oh, would you like to sponsor us?" And only Chiquita was like, "Yeah, we do." And for that reason, whenever I see Chiquita bananas, I always buy them. So it worked.
Wow, so
You're like, this won't sell.
Even if you're not buying bananas that day.
I think most of the time I go grocery shopping, I'm buying bananas.
Fair.
Yeah.
I am also a banana devotee, but I don't have any brand loyalties. Just
What
Del
are the other banana brands?
Del Monte is one.
Yeah,
Del Monte, yeah.
Dole.
Yeah, Dole is a second.
All of the plantation.
I'm sure they all come from the same
It's all the
strange
same
banana
fruit.
trees. Yeah.
Well, actually, if you look at the label, they're from all over Central America and stuff.
As a
they have specific labels.
produce person.
I
Nick will
used
know.
to have to know where our bananas came from that day because people cared about that.
Wow.
They'd be like, "Are they from Ecuador today?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." Or are they from Honduras?
Yeah, sure.
Or are they from Honduras? Ew, I don't want a Honduras banana.
It's the same price.
Yeah, it's the same banana. It's from the same company.
It's an audio medium, but the shrug you gave when you said,
Yeah, it's Ecuador. Why not?
You can just hear it in his voice. You can visualize it.
"Oh, that's delightful."
This one's Peru.
Actually, we didn't get any bananas from Peru.
Really?
No.
I'm
not saying they don't grow in Peru, but we never got them at Giant.
Okay.
Seems a little bit racist.
What do you use your bananas for mainly, Michael?
I eat banana for breakfast every morning.
Oh, that makes sense.
Confessed
Banana
this
man.
in 213 just the other day. Somebody said, "You always eat the same thing for breakfast. You might as well kill yourself or something."
Wow, boy.
Went from 0 to 100
Yeah.
real quick.
And I said, "Well, I eat the
I'm
same
actually,
thing for breakfast."
I firmly believe that breakfast is actually, in general, the worst meal. I know people always say it's the most important, and it's and people are staunch supporters of breakfast. But the thing about breakfast is, if you want to have a good breakfast, you have to like wake up way early and plan for it. Whereas like lunch and dinner can be great without having to like revolve your whole day around it. For breakfast, I always just have a granola bar and like either a smoothie or like some assortment of fruit. Now wait, Nick, I see you're willing to talk, but I want to make a backbone to this. On Saturday and Sunday, when like you have nothing to do and you can like make bacon and pancakes and eggs and like have a little fiesta, then breakfast is overpowered. But most of the time, because of our lives...
Is that on a tier list now?
Yeah. Because of our lives, most of the time breakfast is weak.
Yeah.
I would agree, and that's why we invented brunch. Is because now we don't have to wake up early, but we still get everything you love with breakfast. The waffles, the pancakes, eggs, bacon. That's why brunch is a thing.
Yeah, but nobody's arguing that brunch is the most important meal of the day.
But I'm saying brunch is breakfast and lunch combined.
It's more so like we associate breakfast with rushing out the door, having a banana in hand, so that might have something to do with it.
It's pretty bananas.
Who has fun eating breakfast, really?
Yeah, that's my point.
It's usually just waking up alone at 7 in the morning, eating cereal as you ponder your day.
The kids in the cereal commercials are having fun.
Yeah, that's true. By excluding some other...
Yeah.
Speaking of casual racism, every single one of those breakfast commercials is about kids excluding some person who desperately wants the product for some arbitrary reason.
Funnily enough, except Captain Crunch. I think they're usually with Captain Crunch, aren't they?
That kind of creeps me out that Captain Crunch is the one that they're with.
Yeah, he's also the only white one. You know,
he's also the only human.
The only human. Yeah, honestly, it makes sense.
It's not true. Fred Flintstone doesn't want Barney to get the fruity pebbles.
Oh yeah.
And the leprechaun is super white.
Oh yeah, he's
Lucky. Is he Lucky?
Pebbles.
I think his
Lucky.
name is Lucky.
Yeah. And then what's the cuckoo rabbit?
Cocoa
Puffs. Cuckoo
Cocoa
the Cocoa
Puffs.
Puff
Yeah.
guy. He's not a rabbit.
He's a
Cuckoo bird.
He's a bird.
Yeah. Cereal mascots are weird. And then there's just the Sun, the Raisin Bran,
Yeah.
right? Straight up the
Oh,
Sun.
The sunshade.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's or like was it the mini wheats? That's like just a mini wheat
With sunglasses.
with sunglasses.
Because he's cool.
Yeah.
The French toast cereal, they eat each other. The Cinnamon
Oh
Toast
yeah,
Crunch,
the cannibalism one.
Yeah.
That's another where it's just like a white dude making cinnamon toast crunch, and now they eat each other.
Speaking of cannibalism,
Yes.
so
Oh, no.
Austin already knows this, but I think Nick and Michael will be interested
You're a
to hear.
cannibal? Yeah,
no,
I know that.
I'm not a cannibal. First of all, well, first of all, let me pose the question that sparked this whole thing. If you had the chance to eat human, ever in any situation, would you ever consider it?
That's already been a case though, and the guy got arrested for it.
No, I'm saying like I don't know how to explain this. Okay, basically the topic is one day me and my roommates Yunsuk and Chris last year were sitting and the conversation came up about like life or death scenarios.
Sure.
And
Okay,
I
that makes more
admitted,
sense.
I said I would life or death probably eat human.
Right.
And they criticized me for this so much. And now Yunsuk is actually making a documentary for his video class called "Making Paulie a Murderer."
I mean, you've murdered many people. Before.
I have never murdered
You murdered
anybody.
innocents.
You've already kidnapped people.
Wait, hold
Now
on.
the
Let's
next
get
stage
Michael's
is-
verdict. Michael, did I kidnap a child? Do you remember that
Kidnap
episode?
child.
The story where
yeah.
he took a kid from Chuck E. Cheese's. is
No,
what-
Dunkin'
No, it was
Donuts.
Dunkin'
Donuts.
Donuts.
He changes every time.
Yeah, there may have been some light kidnapping.
There we go. The man himself has said it.
He was never in danger, though.
We don't know that. You kidnapped him.
Yeah.
That is the danger.
Yeah, but he didn't do his swim practice laps that day, so he.
What does that have to
Doesn't
do
do
with anything?
You
may have-
waterboarded the child.
The waterboarding might have been a
You
bit
left
far.
him in the forest, alone and scared,
I feel like this comes up on every single episode.
because you bring it up.
Because I feel like I didn't really do anything wrong, and I feel
But
like
everyone else says you did, so clearly.
So
I feel like with context, like I didn't do anything wrong.
Do we need to bring a lawyer?
I don't
up on
think we
here
have to bring in context to understand you kidnapped a child.
and torture them?
Yeah, but
It's not like
you're making it sound like I did it like last week. I was also like 16, and he was like 14 or something. Or
There's like no gray area.
I'm not. Although with that said, that's not to say like a 33-year-old can't kidnap a 31-year-old because they obviously can.
What are you trying to say here on this episode?
So maybe I don't know. It's a complicated issue. I think you guys are
Complicated,
just
really.
simplifying it.
Don't we like go down the hall and grab one of the political science majors?
We're
and have them, like,
right above them.
All right. We're not.
Backed
We're on
away.
the top floor of this
Backed
building.
away.
So back to cannibalism. I don't know. It depends on the scenario, I guess. Like if they're already like dead. Yeah, I'm
Right,
not gonna kill a person.
Like that
right?
movie,
No, yeah.
like the movie Alive, right? What is it? A rugby team crashes in the Andes.
I don't know that movie.
So this was a big deal when I was in high school.
Oh,
The movie
okay.
came out that was based on this book, a real life event. I think a Chilean, but a plane crashes in the Andes, and then it's the 70s or whatever. Some of the survivors eat their teammates, their expired teammates. But it was a big discussion point in my dorm room.
That does not sound like a feel-good
I think
sports movie.
the big point of it, the big point of it depends on if you kill a person or if they're already dead. That's like the big moral point for
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Because if they're already dead, then it's
Like-
just a fight of survival.
Like the Earth is just gonna eat them.
Yeah.
Or like some other thing.
Right. Unless you're in the Andes, in which case they're just perfectly preserved.
Yeah. True.
My dad loves like those feel-good sports movies. Like there's one, I don't know if you'll know it, but it's like
Cool Runnings?
a team of football high schoolers die on like a plane crash, and then the whole movie is about like no, but then it
I know
becomes
it.
feel good. You know the one, right? And then it's about like the new coach and the new team and how like they don't lose every single game in the season.
That's We Are Marshall. Right?
That's it. Yeah.
With
They-
what's his name from Austin?
I don't know. I don't know any actor names.
McConaughey.
Oh yeah. The thing about feel-good sports movies though is they're always actually just very depressing movies, but they just put a bunch of people cheering. So it's not as like the depressing
it's not as grim as it should
yeah,
be.
it's like, oh, we didn't lose every single game, but we're gonna hype it up so much that it's gonna be like a feel-good moment.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
They tried making us watch that movie in 6th grade at like the last day of school.
Oh.
No one wanted. Like no one was even in the classroom. We were all just in the hallways doing stuff. It was a wild time in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
6th grade Nick was a changed man, different from what you see now.
Cut in class.
Wow. Now you're gonna be a teacher.
Some of my
The cycle
students cut
continues.
class and like
Really?
we have to give them zeros for the day because they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They also weren't in class, so it's just like it just makes grading easier, I guess. But, like, it's
They're
not
just
fun.
another statistic to you, aren't they?
No, it's like it's not fun. Like I hate it. 'Cause, like,
Isn't it
just-
weird how like in high school, like you teach high school, right?
Yeah.
Like they're cutting class, but like when somebody just chooses to stay in bed in college, like they're not cutting, are they?
Well, yeah, they're
like,
just wasting their money.
like yeah. I mean, I guess that's the difference. Is most people in high school, well, actually, nobody in high school is spending their own money. If anything, they're spending their parents'
Well,
money.
it depends on the high school.
I mean, still though, like
Oh,
even if you
yeah.
have a tuition, it's not
Yeah.
like you're not taking on your own loan
Gotcha.
to go to high school. Like when you go to college, it's your own loan, right?
Yeah. I remember my dad said when he was in high school, he was 19 his senior year because he got held back in elementary school. And so he would always sign his like notes to leave school early or just not show up, Mr. Kelly, because he was Mr. Kelly at that point.
Ah,
So, like,
clever.
he would always turn in the notes at the end of the year. They realized, like, your dad never signed any of these. He's like, yeah, of course he didn't. I did. I'm an adult. I signed myself out.
Clever.
Like, you can't
He's
do
allowed
that.
to.
He's like, well, I just did this whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just never questioned it until like the last month of school.
That's a problem with the system.
That's what he's like. It's not my fault you let me go every day.
Yeah, we went from a range of topics in like
Yeah,
5
we
minutes.
jumped from cannibalism to cutting school really quick. Okay, so Michael, let's focus in on our special guest,
Yes.
right? Let's
Oh,
ask some
wow.
questions. What do you think of? I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question. What do you think will become of us as a podcast? Like in terms of Loco Mag, do you think like podcasts will continue to exist in Loco Mag?
Can they have the amount of quality that we have? Set the bar.
Certainly no. There's
Well,
no
then-
fucking chance. In terms of will people continue to do podcasts? I hope so, because I have the assignment in my classes because I want people to make them,
Mhm.
and I actually was recently trying to recruit somebody to be a podcast producer, but they're going to be Australia next year, so
Wow.
I have to figure out some other people to gently bully into doing it. I hope people will.
It'd be cool. Well, not that I think they should, but it would be cool if they called it ForLoco. Like it just the name carries past our own
like
being.
different people, but it's the same
Mhm.
Yeah.
What if they
program.
call it 5 Loco?
5
Ooh,
Loco. They have
true.
5 people.
Yeah, or 2 Loco.
2 4.
That's trying too hard.
I've been thinking a lot about because I definitely want to continue making things after graduation because I feel like college kind of forces you to make things a little bit, and I don't want to fall in the rut where I'm not making things anymore. Which is why I worry for you, Austin, because I was reflecting on my 4 years of college, and I've realized for 4 years I have been forcing you to do things with me.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
No, it's just
No,
that's
without
the
Paulie, what's going to
No.
happen?
That's the dynamic of our relationship.
Oh, I
Yes.
see. So what happens to you without me?
He
I
moves
do my
into
own
your
stuff.
garage.
Hey man, what are you talking about? I published a book.
Yeah.
What have
Okay,
you done?
no. Yeah, but that's like you don't do anything outside of like your own domain. you
Yeah,
know?
it's because it's
I push
my
you.
stuff.
I push you outside your boundaries. That's all I'm saying.
I did.
I'm-
I did a podcast.
What?
In the same class as you.
Okay, that's not the point, Austin. All of your examples exist within the structure of
just 'cause I'm
classroom
not as
settings.
good at melee as you doesn't mean I'm any lesser than
Also, you
you.
were on the same podcast.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
And wasn't it Paulie's idea, the banana thing?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
banana
that
thing
was
was
his
my
thing.
idea.
I did
yeah.
my thing.
Yeah. Looking back, I kind of stretched that idea a little far, but you know, it went okay. Did you have any good podcasts in the class this semester that were super memorable?
There were some good podcasts. Every project that comes in, I wish
Yeah.
were better in this
I
way
feel
or
like
that way.
that project is like. Here, can I like get personal about the project?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
doing the podcast is a good project, but like, and I know that because of the confines of a classroom setting and the confines of getting things done, like it can't really be avoided. But working with like 3 at least somewhat random people in the class just kind of like limits it to an extent. Like whether it be because one person isn't as willing to get the same type of audio quality, or if it's just because of timing things.
Yeah.
And like it always ends up like I feel like all of those projects end up with something that like
haphazard a little. Bit.
yeah, which like stinks because it is a cool project, but it just like is like limited by itself. I feel like.
Didn't we also make a website too?
Yeah,
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I show it as an example of a good project.
Oh,
You should know
well, that's
that.
great.
Yeah, see, now
Yeah.
your opinion of the assignment is totally changed.
Now,
I bought that gorilla.
is it still a requirement, or is it just like extra for the website? Making
What,
the website.
No, it's required because
Okay.
it's still a research writing class, so I
Mm.
have to enable different ways
Yeah.
for that
Mm.
to happen.
It'd be cool if like podcasting could have its own class, like its
Yeah.
own like little thing,
Yeah,
like a 2-credit thing. Because I mean, like they have that for other art forms, right? Like
Yeah.
what else? There's the animation class. Yeah, you know
Yeah.
nothing. Nick, a la Nick.
Of your history and your
This
education.
past year, I've just been in a bubble of the education department.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there are some opportunities to see how the department might interact with the radio station in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
'Cause I guess the radio station, like the departed university newspaper, is having some problems with consistency. So
Mm.
Yeah, I was in the radio club for a bit in first year, but it's one of those things where like
It's almost like they don't know what they're doing.
yeah, it also doesn't really feel like a radio station. It feels like everyone just playing music they would want to listen to for an hour.
It should
and,
be
like-
a side activity, not part of the club, like the club's main thing.
Well, like I mean, it should just like try to emulate real radio. I feel like, and I
Yeah.
don't feel like that's what it tries to do now. But you know, that's okay. Everyone's working up towards there.
They should have podcasts during the radio.
They should.
But they don't.
Do either of you guys, well, I know you do, Michael. Do either of you guys actually listen to podcasts though?
If they're concerning movies, sometimes.
what movie podcasts do you listen to?
There was one about the one guy that was talking smack about Stan Lee after his death, and a podcast.
Bill Maher.
Yeah, that guy.
Also,
a podcast.
I
covered that topic.
kind of agree with what Bill Maher was saying.
Well,
Well,
I'm trying to remember exactly like the point of his words were. Because it sounded like he was just trying to start trouble, not
That's
that he
his
had an
thing.
actual point.
well, yeah, that is his thing. Yeah, he's
With
kind of awful, but
Like he wasn't actually making a legit critique that we should listen to. It was just the cause.
well,
trouble.
I don't know. I felt like everyone was like mad at him for like critiquing Stan Lee when he didn't really critique Stan Lee. He critiqued like, you know, the industry.
Right.
I don't know. It was a complicated thing. I'd rather not get into that.
Mm.
But do you listen to podcasts?
I don't actively seek out podcasts to listen to that frequently, but my friend back home, whenever we go on road trips, he puts on podcasts and stuff, and that's what we listen to like the whole way there and back. And it's like random ones. Some it's like people telling stories. Other times it's like D&D podcasts.
Oh.
So it's like random stuff that he puts on. And like it's always entertaining.
Interesting.
I also, every morning I listen to MMR, Precedent Steve in the morning.
I don't know what
It's
that
like
is.
it's a radio talk show.
I listen to The Daily every morning, or Up First. I kind of choose. I have this really big issue that I'm really trying to work on, where if I see the headline of The Daily is not about the United States, I'm like, I don't want to listen to that. I know that's like very unhealthy, but I can't seem to escape it. I also really like a podcast called Behind the Bastards. I would recommend that one to anyone.
Behind the Bastards.
Yeah, they like
What is
choose.
Behind
They
the
choose like
Bastards?
awful people, and they just tell you like everything about them. So like when Roger Stone was indicted, they did like 3 whole episodes of this, like going through Roger Stone's whole life and being like, where is the moment where he became an awful person?
Ooh.
It's pretty good. Yeah, no, it's a pretty good podcast. Sometimes they have like boring people, but like, and then they did another one about like the guy who like started one of those like multi-level marketing schemes. Also, speaking of multi-level marketing schemes, I'm gonna transition here for a second.
Oh, no.
Have you guys seen those in some of classrooms in this school?
yeah.
There's in the corner it says like
Yeah.
$17
Mm-hmm.
per hour job.
Do not erase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who writes those? Do we know?
we don't.
We don't.
And who do they? Why did they think they have the authority to put "do not
They're
erase"?
probably from the English
I have a more
department.
important question.
Yeah.
Is that an actual job or is
No,
it
it's a. I've actually looked it up, not out of like curiosity because it felt very
Out of
obviously to be a
spite.
pyramid scheme. The
It's
second
like-
I saw
it's-
it,
it's a
I,
computer
no, but I did look into it. It's a division of like that Vector Cutco type thing where like you sell knives.
Oh, that?
Yeah, no, it's
That
yeah,
scam.
yeah, no, it's like crazy. I don't know why they're getting. There are the signs in like every single whiteboard in this whole school. It's crazy.
That should have been someone's thesis.
Oh, just like running them down and then
Yeah.
doing
Right.
like a documentary.
Yeah,
expose.
finding out who it is, exposing them.
I wanted to start writing "This is a pyramid scheme" in really big letters and then point to it. But,
Do it.
Well, yeah, but I would want to do it like before people get to class. There's actually not one in this
So
classroom.
do it at night.
But there is one in the classroom where I have my Russian history class, so I always see it like every single day.
Haywood's gonna see it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm surprised he hasn't addressed it yet.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like why don't they just erase it?
I feel like because we're so used to it, it's like
It's just
like,
there.
It's
Yeah.
just there. Like no one
Like the
thinks of
walls.
it.
We're used to this wall
Yeah.
and the walls around us.
Yeah, you're not gonna erase that wall.
Yeah, but like
We
it
need-
could get some like poor freshman who like doesn't know any better and thinks they can earn $17.
Well, now they know
an
better
hour.
because they just heard it
Yeah.
from you.
Life
okay.
lesson.
I have a pretty funny story about a person who is no longer on campus, but they may have been the sort of person who would have called one of those scammy job things. But instead, this person came up to me and asked, "Do you know people that'll let you donate sperm?"
It's really specific.
One, no. 2, why would you ask me?
Do you say it slowly like that too?
Yes.
Oh
like,
no.
hesitantly, like
Oh god.
he didn't want me to like yell at him or something.
That's
but I
funny.
was just insulted.
My roommates have donated plasma. One of them has before.
Well, I donated platelets.
Do you get paid for that one?
I did not. I did it out of the kindness of my
Oh,
heart.
okay.
Some people have hearts.
I'm actually not allowed to donate blood because my like weight is like right below the line of like where you're deemed.
Ah.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is for like a man of our age and
It's from
height.
all that melee playing.
True. Oh, that's another question I'd like to ask Michael. What do you think of esports as a concept, and specifically my role in
The
them?
shrug he gave.
Yeah, I don't know. That's fine.
It's
Whatever.
fine.
That's his whole thing. That's all he's
that's my whole life right there.
Yeah.
Did you see?
Well, no, like some people get like upset about it. Like, how can you like? How is this thing? You're watching other people play video games.
Oh,
blah,
yeah.
Blah, blah. I'm fine with it. I haven't played. I had to stop playing video games in 2008 because I needed to write a dissertation. I just never went back. So
That's reasonable.
yeah.
I really only play like the one game that I like take competitively. I got 5th at a tournament on Saturday.
Now you're doing worse. Didn't you come in second the last time?
Yes,
Oh.
but there were better people at this one.
Uh-huh.
So honestly, the 5th actually feels better than the 2nd, even though I won no money.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but there is a pretty significant push to bring an esports team to Arcadia.
That's interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they want to make some sort of like academic connection to our department.
There's a lot of schools like Temple. Like I know a lot of the guys who play Melee at Temple. They don't have like a team per se, but like they have a designated time every week in the game room where like all the TVs are dedicated to like and computers are dedicated to like esports type playing. Like they have it like rented out pretty much.
Would it see in Philly? I think they're also building an esports arena.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
seems a little extreme to me. Like I don't like.
Is it still not at that point yet where we would?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it is. I mean, I guess you don't know until you try, right?
I think some people were saying the concern is like unlike baseball, where it's the game's mostly the same as you go through esports. The games that are popular to watch competitively are constantly changing.
Right.
So like their concern is like how would the arena accommodate? Which kind of seems self-explanatory of how it would.
Yeah.
But like we don't know how gaming is going to change 10, 15 years from now. I guess is their logic.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is like if there's a like, I don't know, like there's tournaments for like Melee like all around the country, and like just because there's an arena in Philadelphia doesn't mean they're all gonna relocate to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna stay where they are, and like people are more than happy being in like a crowded middle school auditorium that the like people rented out, you know, like because and you know if the game's on a nice projector, you know, like I don't feel like an arena is necessary,
And
but I
even-
don't know, maybe I might be super wrong.
Even then, most tourneys like that are just streamed. People just watch.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is I mean, it'll always be streamed, but I don't know. I guess there's, but you could say the same thing about a baseball stadium, right? Like that's
Yeah.
on
People
television.
watch
Yeah.
on TV.
Yeah, most people watch it on TV, but there are people who pay.
Like to get. in
Yeah.
there.
I mean,
that's because the appeal of going to a baseball game is like eating bad food.
Yeah.
and
Right.
being outside in the sun.
yeah. Whereas the appeal of like going to a big, like Melee event for me is that I get to play. Like
Right.
you know, like
Right.
even though I'm a spectator, I'm still an active participant.
Right.
No, I guess even at like the esports arena, they could have like Doritos and Mountain Dew as like crappy food you could eat as you're watching.
Well,
Just, like,
yeah.
getting the-
Sponsored by
Well, that's what they could
Doritos
do.
Cool Ranch.
Like, they could be the ones sponsoring these things.
Hot dog flavored Doritos. There we go.
Well, isn't it? Is there there's a pro Philadelphia esports like team that's owned by Comcast, right?
I think so.
I think I know which one it is, but I don't want to get it wrong. It might be the team Faker. They like have like League of Legends and stuff. Yeah, I really only watch Super Smash Brothers, so I don't really know much
Like
outside
games.
of that.
So all of that stadium place is just like Comcastville anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So they
Oh
just
yeah,
build
absolutely.
so
Like
they
it's
just build a
like even if it's in the
facility.
red, it's like
Right.
it's just owned by
Yeah.
Comcast, whatever. So it's not really a big deal.
So they'll use it for like
Something
lip
else.
syncing showdown or
Yeah.
whatever in 2030. That's on Twitch.
Anyway, I was making a point before, and I got really lost. But I was going to say I really want to continue making things after graduation,
Right.
and I'm trying to figure out like what it is that I'll make, like whether it be a podcast or like video essays or something. And
You can make a YouTube channel.
yeah, I mean, I could do that. My thing with like a podcast is I feel like a podcast has to fill a hole. Like it has to be something that people want per se. Whereas like a movie, you just make a movie like. It can be something people want or need, but it can also just be something you wanted to tell.
Right. It could be a filler movie.
Like I don't know. Like when I search for a podcast, I'm searching for the news or like history. I don't know. Like I don't know how to explain the difference, but like
It's
do you
like
know-
a podcast needs to have a purpose, basically.
yeah, but like that's not to say a movie doesn't have a purpose.
But like you can go to a movie and watch for whatever, but a podcast.
Well, okay,
you search
maybe
for
this is where the
specific
difference is.
stuff.
Like I can go to the movie theater not knowing what's playing and pick something, and
Yeah.
but like with a podcast, I generally like have to search for it, or it has to be presented to me by a friend or something. In that way, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a friend who did a podcast series. They actually stopped it, so you could probably pick it up. Nobody else is doing it, but it was called Kilmercast, and it was every episode was just a roundtable discussion about a different Val Kilmer movie. So, I mean, just work your way through whatever.
I really there's something similar to that I've listened to. I haven't listened to all of it, but they just talk about each Seinfeld episode as they watch them.
Oh right, yes,
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
sometimes I'll watch an episode of Seinfeld and I'll be like, I need more, so I'll listen to the podcast about it.
Isn't there also a Star Wars podcast where they break down like every minute of the movie, and it's like this huge thing that isn't even finished yet, where like they break down everything that happened.
I could see
Probably.
that. That probably
Probably.
exists because there's.
there's a Simpsons one too.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
Week
yeah.
in Springfield, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, The Simpsons is it like actually really bad now? Like
It's
or is that just like a meme?
It's
They got rid of Apu apparently. I haven't looked into that much.
Yeah, because
but-
of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was like some
controversies.
controversy about that.
Yeah, because they were like, years later, we think he's racist. This is racist, guys. Let's get rid of him. After all these years. You know, 'cause we just noticed it.
I don't know how bad The Simpsons is, but I know that it was really good at one point.
Oh no, it was. Yeah.
So I think like however the distance is, it's just always
yeah.
seemed terrible.
Well, that's the thing. Like online, people always say the good ones are like seasons 2 through 13. But like when I first started watching it, I think I watched season like 16 was the first one I watched, and like to me like seasons 2 to like 19 are like the good ones. So I don't know. I guess it's. And I don't know, maybe there's a kid today who, like, seasons 22 to 24 are the good ones.
It might just be a generation thing.
Yeah, like, I don't really know.
Because, like,
I think it gets memed so much online that, like, you can't really actually have a discussion about it. And also, you have to talk about with a Simpsons superfan.
I saw a wild academic paper recently about, like, avant-garde cinema and the concepts from avant-garde cinema as applied to YouTube users who do a zillion different permutations on steamed hams. Have you seen these videos?
Yeah, I've seen those.
So it'll be like, you know, like here are 36 different versions of steamed hams all running at different frame rates that like sort of overlap just at one moment in the middle where the first time Skinner says steamed hams.
Yeah.
Loki, can we talk about that scene though? That scene works so well.
It's a funny scene, yeah.
I went to this paper just because I wanted to watch the clip.
Like the comedy in that scene is so good.
Yeah, that scene is super funny.
Yeah, it's outrageous. So good.
I feel like we gotta have Tim Belloff on the podcast now. The professor that teaches the Simpsons class.
Oh, there's a Simpsons
Honestly,
class?
Yeah.
It's a university seminar.
Everyone tries to get in it for obvious reasons.
I didn't know that. I tried to get in yoga. That one fills up real fast. No comment. All right. Nick, what time are we at?
Yeah.
For our viewers who are curious, we are currently at 31 minutes and 47 seconds.
You always say for our viewers who are curious, and I
It's
feel like
a
I've never
staple
brought this
now.
up,
It's
but
a staple
they can
now.
just look at their phone, Nick.
No, you brought that
Or
up.
their computer.
You brought that
I
up,
have brought
trust
it
me.
up. Okay.
But like, I think I've always come back with this point of usually our viewers who are listening to the podcast, from what I've heard from people, it's like they're doing something else. It's like, well,
Right.
they're doing whatever.
They're
time.
listening
I
to
guess
the
I get that.
podcast
It's
and-
like
And now they get a time of
we're
it.
going to a new segment.
And they're
okay.
viewing their photo of you that they just carry.
Yeah,
with
they're
them.
just staring at
That's
it.
why you always refer to them as
Yeah.
viewers, because they're always gazing at a portrait of
No
you.
joke, Nick has literally used that same argument every time Paulie brings
True.
it up.
Yeah.
I've kept track.
It's a good argument.
I've kept track.
Also, I'm gonna miss making badly photoshopped title
Oh,
cards
yeah.
for this podcast.
Yeah.
There's no reason you have to stop. You can just do it over Skype.
True.
It's actually really
All right. Well, anyway, let's move on to some questions, okay?
Yes.
Now, I did tell people that Michael Dwyer was going to be a guest, and I said you can ask a question specifically for him, but it seems like many people just asked random questions anyway.
I mean, they're specific towards him.
Well, I think we can all answer this one. Boxers or briefs?
For what purpose?
Yeah, you got to be more specific here.
For, like, wearing, like, underwear-wise, I assume.
Well, why don't you go first?
I do boxer briefs.
Boxer? Wait, what?
Like,
It's-
they're like
it's
the
both.
middle one, like
Right.
the
Oh.
weird in-brief.
Because I also do boxer briefs. They're like the in-brief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also do
Boxer shorts, I left those behind in junior high.
Yeah.
It was like a thing. Like now you're a teen. Now you wear like teen underpants. Yeah, those things suck.
My older brother, he does not like to spend money on clothing at all, but he spends like a minimum of $25 per pair of underwear. He buys like these like merino wool ones. They're actually super soft, and they always have like pineapples on them or something.
Oh, is this like these specialty underwear companies
Yeah,
that
yeah.
advertise on podcasts?
Oh yeah, it's one of
Yes.
them. Yeah, it's like MeUndies or something.
Right. Yeah.
Sponsor
Yeah.
us. Sponsor us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for-
That's It's so long as they provide you some cash, whatever it is that's the thing that I wear.
Austin?
Boxers.
Really?
When I was a kid, like I wore boxers, and for some reason I thought they also worked as like pajama pants. So I would just go around with boxers. I blame television.
I think a lot of kids did that.
I blame television for influencing me because like the characters would just wear boxers and nothing else.
Well, that's wild because in the 90s, girls wore boxer shorts as just like casual wear, but they would have to like sew up the fly.
That's interesting.
The more you know.
Yeah, the 90s, wild time.
Those were a great time. Grungy.
Prosperity, cloning sheep,
Woo.
Oh my god! Speaking of clones, have any of you guys ever seen that show on like reality TV programs where like these two brothers sell houses to people? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I know
The
what you
Property
mean.
Brothers.
Brothers?
I
Yeah,
know what you mean,
one of
yeah.
them is a clone of the other one. I'm convinced of it.
I also isn't there a third brother? Like, I
He
think
just blew up Paulie's mind.
That's the one that failed.
I think
That's the
he's-
failed
I think
experiment.
he's a younger brother or an older brother. Like he's not one of the. He's like not like a twin.
He's not one of the
He's like-
Property Brothers. No, he's
Right.
just a failed clone.
He's got no property.
Yeah.
That's
He lives
so
in a
weird.
box.
Yo, you
No.
just blew Paulie's mind. The face he made when you
No,
said that.
I mean, the third property brother is a committed communist, and he doesn't believe in private property.
That's definitely right.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Water ice or Italian ice?
Water ice.
Wait, what's the difference?
It's how it's regional.
What do I get at Rita's?
Water
Water
ice.
ice.
Yeah, water ice.
But
Wait, no, it's not. So they're the same thing. It's just
It's a regional
dialect.
What you call it.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
a hoagie versus a sub.
I call it Italian
Yeah.
ice, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're wrong.
And I'm from like.
Fighting words.
Is
Well,
that
you're from New York.
is that
makes
why?
sense.
It
I'm also
is-
from
it
like
is
the
a
most
regional
Italian
thing.
part of New York.
It is a regional.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of my Italian part of New York, you want to hear a wild story?
Yes.
I have spent my whole life going with my dad, like whenever like we need to do grocery shopping, go to this place called Top Tomato. It's like a grocer. They mainly sell like meats and tomatoes and stuff, you know. Anyway, me and my brother
Spinning tops.
were on the.
On tomatoes.
That'd be good.
Shaped like tomatoes.
My brother was like browsing Wikipedia, and I don't know how I guess he was researching like the 5 big mob families of New York, and it turns out that one of like the leaders of one of the biggest mob families in New York owns Top Tomato. He's been in jail. He was in jail until 2014 for like ratting other people out. And then he got like facial reconstruction surgery, and he went back to owning Top Tomato.
Wait
And
a minute, hold on. I'm quite certain
On
that he didn't.
Wikipedia.
No. I'm quite certain that he owns it. I'm quite certain he was not in jail for ratting people out.
No. That's the no.
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
the crime.
Well, he was in jail and he ratted people out to get
Okay.
out at 2014.
Sure.
And because of that, he got like facial reconstruction surgery or something.
Right.
And me and my brother were talking to our dad, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I knew that. He's there all the time." I was like, "You just know what he looks like."
Plot twist, it was you all along.
Yeah, right. It's just my dad just running the mafia for you.
Also, your dad just endangered this guy's life.
yeah, right.
Yeah, seriously.
He's gonna come after all of us. I hope you know that one by one.
I also like how
disappeared.
Yeah.
I also think it's funny. I also this like revealed like a minor tension in my family that I never knew existed, because like my mom like goes out of her way to like avoid anything slightly mafia related, because all that stuff is like at least somewhat all over Staten Island if you look close enough. And like my dad's just like, I don't care. And I found out, wow, that's why my mom has never gone to Top Tomato with us.
Good deal's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean
as
they
far
do.
as
All it
deep
costs is your life.
As far as deep dark family secrets, you probably
Yeah,
did
that
all right on that one.
Yeah. Hoagies or sub? Oh, so they're just asking all
Hoagie
the
did-
dialect
Hoagie.
questions.
Yeah.
It's hoagie.
Yeah.
I actually don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's
Yeah.
like
It depends on the restaurant, I guess.
it's also like if you look on a map of how it's pronounced, it's a little dot that calls it a hoagie. That is Philadelphia, and the rest of the country calls it something else.
Pittsburgh calls them hoagies.
Oh, they call them
Oh.
hoagies
Yeah,
too. Okay.
but where I was born in Boston, I said subs. But
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah, when I get one at Wawa, I call it a hoagie, but only because
it's
that's
a
what the
Wawa-
computer
yeah,
tells me.
It's a Wawa hoagie.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't really care. All right. Have you ever listened to the Tiny Meat Gang podcast? Anybody?
no.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
This is like definitely a question from one of my roommates, because I know they both listen to it. It's like some podcast by some YouTuber. Well, yeah.
Who's big
it's-
and famous?
yeah. I don't know. I don't really know the concept of it. Apparently, it's funny.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Right, but every time you deal with a YouTuber, it's just count down to racial slurs. That's the problem.
True. YouTube is like wild. Like that happens.
It's the Wild West. No
The-
man's land.
Did I think like PewDiePie had a video where he when he was in Japan, and he went to the same forest where Logan Paul like revealed the dead body thing. Like, why would you even go there?
Well,
You're just
Because
asking
everyone,
for
'cause
trouble.
everyone turns an eye if it's PewDiePie.
it's a top quality character right there.
Yeah.
Great bit too.
Oh my
I
god,
mean, what a bit! Look, a dead guy.
I didn't like
Hilarious.
I didn't like conceive that Logan Paul was like a legitimate problem until one day when I was at the gym with some kids. I was like working the late shift, so like some like 8 and 9-year-olds came in, and I never met them before because I usually work the morning shifts. And I was like, oh, hey, guys, I'm Paul. And they were like, are you related to Logan Paul? And I was like, oh, wow, they, like, really watch him, like, religiously, like, every single day.
I like how the fact that the dead man controversy isn't enough to convince
No,
Paulie
like,
to follow,
no,
but the
like-
fact that they thought he
No, like,
was
that's bad. I just didn't realize he was, like, actually big. Like, I didn't realize he actually had fans. I thought he was, like some, like...
Well, didn't he used to be like a Disney star?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know
think
anything
he
about
did,
him.
and then he went on to YouTube.
I never heard about him until the controversy with the dead body thing. Like, I never
Yeah, like,
heard
I
of
thought
it.
he got famous from the controversy, but apparently he was, like,
No, he's
huge before that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So wait, the Tiny Meat podcast? What's
Tiny Meat Gang.
Tiny Meat Gang. So is the gang for people who like tiny meats?
Or they
Or is
tiny
it-
meat.
I have
Sounds
no
lamer than
idea.
our podcast
I have no
or
idea.
are they a tiny gang?
of meats.
Yes.
I know it's from a YouTuber named Cody Ko. I don't know anything else.
It's like a little pig in a blanket.
Yeah, I really go out of my...
Little bacon wraps.
I think I left my phase of watching YouTubers after I turned, like, 18, I would say.
Once you get to college, you decided it's all
It's all
about
it's
GameCube
all
games
it's all
now.
about Nintendo GameCube games. Yeah.
Melee.
Actually, no, that's not true. I watch a lot of YouTube about Melee,
There you
so
go.
it's not even the
There you
case.
go.
Yeah.
That's research.
Well, everyone. Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
You're,
Yeah.
you're learning the strats of the game.
I mean, everyone watches some YouTube. You watch like YouTubers, don't you, Austin? Like,
I mean, it depends, like, what I want to watch. Mostly scary stuff.
oh, okay. Do you watch?
I really only watch Team 4-Star for
Oh.
Aussie Abridged and Donkey. That's about
See,
it.
What do you
everyone-
watch on
everyone has their
YouTube?
own-
Like, what does your YouTube recommended list look like?
It better be this podcast.
It's probably
It's
like
probably this podcast. It'll I do like John Boy's YouTube videos he does for SB Nation. I don't know if you guys.
no, I'm not familiar.
Oh, he's so good. I've been like looking at his stuff on the internet since like 2001. But he does a series on SB Nation that's so good. And then he did this video, well, this like sort of multimedia narrative called 17776. Did anybody see that? It's so good. It's about football in a post-apocalyptic future. That's really, really good.
I'm like trying to find a way to make my YouTube recommended not awful again, but it's at a phase right now where all it is like video essays about movies that all say the exact same thing in a span of 10 minutes.
It's all about the algorithm.
You know, it's like, why Inception is the perfect movie, or something like that.
And then like the text is like, because it's so cool.
Yeah, pretty much for 10 minutes. All right, next question. Who is your favorite student?
Ooh.
I feel like
That's obviously. Oh, that's you could answer that
I
too,
can
Nick.
answer that one too.
Who's your favorite student?
I appreciate all of my students equally.
You just, no, use their fake name as a Smash character.
Then I could just say like Kirby or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's your favorite student?
Kirby.
Okay. Here, let me rephrase this.
I mean, there was
There was a
there
Kirby. I did like Kirby a lot.
I knew he wasn't going to answer neither of them would answer this, so let me rephrase it. What is a gesture a student has done that you've greatly appreciated?
One student walked up once and gave me like a little one of those like Godiva chocolate things that wrote me and my host teacher. Like she went to all of her teachers and gave them one. She's like, I just feel like doing something nice. Today. Like
Oh,
that was
that's nice.
It was
That
like
is
one of
nice.
those little things. So I was like, all right, that makes me appreciate being a teacher a little bit. She doesn't hate my guts.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Sometimes students will go on to like make things and they'll send me little update
Oh.
emails. That's nice. Sometimes people like write a letter or whatever. That's really nice.
Mm.
Or like students that just. Sometimes you'll get a student who is not all that into it in the beginning, and then they buy in and like try really hard, and I like that a lot too.
That's nice.
Warms the heart.
That's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to finishing my thesis is because I really want to send it to one of my high school English teachers
Oh,
because he really encouraged me to like do like something visual with like my degree like going in because. And like I was gonna go to school for like radio at Ithaca, and he encouraged me to like look more into like film and video communication type programs. And the reason I was like shying away from it was sadly enough because the teacher who taught advanced film actually passed away before we ever got to take the class. So I got put in like Chinese philosophy class, which was actually a sick class. I actually have some funny stories about that
I
class.
feel like it's like An opposite end of an extreme.
Well, it was just the only class with like open spots, and I was just like placed into it. But the funny thing about that class was the professor wanted us to learn 18 Chinese philosophy terms by the end of the semester. So every class, he would start off by giving a quiz with the 18 terms in matching columns, and you had to pass it once before the end of the semester. So everyone at my school was a nerd. So, of course, they all pass it by, like, the third class, except for me.
It's a movie right there.
So for pretty much the next 5 classes, it would just begin with me failing a quiz, everyone knowing I failed it. And then finally one week I was just like, okay, I got to just study nonstop for this thing because I'm sick of everyone roasting me. So I just learned the 18 terms, and it got to the last ones, and the 2 terms I needed were wei and wu wei. And I did not know. And he was just looking at me, and he goes, I'll tell you, you have a 100 so far. And I just took a guess, and I happened to get it. And I was like, oh, thank God.
So do you know them now?
Wu wei means the act of doing nothing. I don't remember. I think wei means energy, but I might be wrong about that.
Huh.
There's other ones, but there's no.
Like that entire... You can make a movie out of that entire story.
Yeah.
Put it in a class you don't want to be. Learning the 18 philosophical ways, the hero's journey.
But like each like part of the movie is like a different way of like embracing whatever that term is.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
right.
Like so you
There
learn
you
it
go.
in your daily life as you go.
That's your first
That's
film.
good.
That's your first
That's
film.
actually good.
Legit, that's your first film.
All right, next question. It just says Carly Rae Jepsen ?
Never heard
great.
of her name.
You know, she is great, and I know why they're asking this. I think it's one of my friends because I really like Carly Rae Jepsen too. I always say that. Yes, Nick.
Who is?
She's the Call Me Maybe girl, but this is the thing. She released Call Me Maybe, and you were like, "Oh, that's an okay song." But then she released her second album, Emotion,
Which is great.
and you were like, "Oh, she has something to say." But anyway, I really like Carly Rae Jepsen, and I revealed this before my roommate, who will remain unnamed, started taking the class Media Studies, where apparently Professor Dwyer here revealed that he also likes Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah.
So when she came home from that class, she was like, "You're just Michael Dwyer. You're the same person." And I
Because
refute that.
can
I
you
think we
deny
both
that?
just happen to like a
Right.
good artist.
A platinum-selling artist.
Yeah, it's not that
Millions of other
ridiculous.
people in
Yeah.
the world. Yeah, the new Carly Rae Jepsen singles are fantastic.
They are, yeah.
Really good.
Although I will say I don't love I Really Like You, but everything else on the album is pretty good. All right, moving on from that. I'm glad I got that out of the way. Worst concert experience? Ooh,
Huh.
that's a good question.
So I've been to a lot of classical music concerts because my sister is a music teacher and did all that kind of stuff. So I had a couple ones where I almost fell asleep, even though like they were good. It was like
Yeah, I
I
understand
was
that.
8,
Right.
and an 8-year-old Nick didn't appreciate those things.
Yeah, 8-year-old
The
Nick.
22-year-old Nick appreciates those things. I guess my worst concert experience though was actually it was like my best and worst concert experience because it was Incubus in Lincoln Park back when I was in high school, and like that was really awesome. But the people sitting next to us were really drunk and had to get up to pee every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes we had to get up to let them through, and they'd come back with more beer, and then they'd have to get up 5 minutes later and go to the bathroom. It was like that to me was like
We had
that frustrated.
a similar experience this weekend, not at a concert. I went to the, I don't know, like lecture of Ad Rock and Mike D from the Beastie Boys did like a talk at the Tower, and Spike Jonze was filming it for a documentary. So that was great. Like, it was really, a lot of the stories were just from the book, which I had just read, but it was really great to just like see them interact and whatever. But there were all of these people. Now, I am an old officially, but there were a lot of people who were like probably teenagers during the like License to Ill era. So they're like 50s and 60s who were just like decided this was their night out. They were going to go hard, and then they were like getting up to pee every like 20 minutes, and then they were like falling asleep at midnight because they can't hang, and it was rough.
My worst concert experience. This is just the experience because the concert overall was great. But I went to when I was in London, I went to a Me Without You show. They're like a Hebrew rock band from Philadelphia, actually, and I was in like the middle of. I got a really good spot in the mosh pit, which is especially hard for me because I'm so short. But I was like actually able to see the singer and stuff. And I guess this one guy, when the song, I think it was the song Red Cow, when that song started, this guy just decided that I no longer had my spot. So he just like elbowed me out of the way and got me like directly in like my left like jaw area, and that really hurt. That was very painful.
And that really hurt.
Yeah, but other than that, like the concert was really great, and there wasn't like long-lasting pain. It was just like a little bit of mouth blood, you know. And these other guys bought me a beer, and then when at the end the singer was like, "Oh, we came all the way from Philly here," and then the two guys who I'd been talking to, like, were like, "This kid's from Philly. He's from Philly," and then the singer went like. He gave me like a point.
Yeah, very nice.
So that was it. Overall it was good, but being elbowed was not a good experience.
I don't remember what concert. It was at Six Flags. I had a terrible migraine.
I would just like to say you are the type of person that goes to concerts at Six Flags.
It was with the family. My sister really wanted to see it. They took too long to start. I had a migraine. I felt sick. They had bad covers of songs. It was a bad experience.
Was it the Wiggles?
I don't remember what it was. That's how
The
bad.
Joe Bros?
But my sister really loved it, apparently.
I had a bad experience at like a Warped tour in like, I don't know, 97 or something.
Wow.
Where I didn't have any money, and it was like brutally fucking hot. And they were just starting at these like festivals to have like, you know, like corporate tents or whatever. So the only thing you could get to drink was like Yoo-Hoo had this. So it was like terribly hot, and like the only thing that was free to drink was Yoo-Hoo.
Oh, no.
And I did not overindulge, but so many like suburban mohawked heat exhaustion people just vomiting,
Crunked out on you.
vomiting hot Yoo-Hoo onto the concrete.
God.
Miserable.
I just want to say, Yoo-Hoo sponsoring that is like the most 90s
Yeah,
thing
that's
I've heard today.
Grunge.
I feel like Warped Tour in the 90s must have been so much better than the ones I went to.
Well, it's possible, although.
Maybe I'm just idealizing a different time.
It wasn't great then.
I went to two with my brother's friends because I was really into that music, but my brother wasn't, so I went with my brother's friends. So I was like 12 and they were all like 15. And no, I was like 13, they were all 16. Either way, I don't know how I didn't realize they were all smoking marijuana the entire time.
Oh,
I just didn't know. Yeah, I just didn't know.
12.
But like now it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Like how was I so stupid? It's crazy.
I think I paid for like one, and then I would always have friends in bands, so I got into a bunch of them. And so when you don't pay, you're like, I'll just go.
Yeah. See, I was like 12 and was like super into it. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. Why are people the way they are? Is the next question.
Because the world says so.
All right, moving on.
Oh,
Video game or movie character you wish was your dad? Ooh.
Is it? Nick, you don't want to know the first answer that came to mind.
Please tell me. I want to know the first answer that
It
came.
was All Might.
What was
All
that?
Might.
He's such a dad, though.
What was that?
Don't worry about it. It better or Piccolo, honestly.
Piccolo would be a good dad.
Ooh, they're the same actor.
I don't know. That is a strange question.
Not
Yeah.
not the one who have dead parents. Not the parents that just die off on in the story.
Oh, I was going to say Thomas Wayne. Batman's dad.
I mean, if he's your dad, at least you're rich.
That's
No,
rich.
no.
Something.
Money can't buy love.
I'm thinking more like a good dad though. Maybe a flick from Bug's Life.
You want a bug dad?
You'd actually step on him. And
I just think he's a good role model.
Miscommunication right there between. Parent and
For some reason I was assuming he would just be my size.
That's not how it works.
That's probably not
That's
right.
not how it works.
Mr. Turnblad from Hairspray. That was a good movie, Dad.
Yeah, that's a good movie, Dad.
I feel like Qui-Gon Jinn, if he was
Ooh.
allowed to have.
If he,
He'd be a
if he
good dad.
lived.
I don't know. I feel like you're picking like senseis more than dads though.
Teachers. Well, he is a teacher.
Yeah, I mean I guess so.
Royal Tenenbaum.
I'm just trying to
maybe?
think-
He's probably a lousy.
I don't know. That was he was a
good
bad
grandpa.
father. Yeah, he was. Yeah, okay. Ben Stiller was a good dad in that movie, wasn't he? He was okay.
Night of the Museum.
No, in Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah.
Are we still waiting on me to pick something?
Oh, I don't know.
You
You
did snap.
you snapped.
Oh, I don't know. I just snapped.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we all gave
Yeah,
at
no
least
snap.
some type of sufficient answer. This is a long question. Godzilla is destroying the city. The government has chosen you as a potential candidate to defeat him by growing you to be the same size as the monster.
We're all dead.
Unfortunately, the surgery is irreversible. Do you take the challenge or pass it on to another brave soul?
I don't have fire breath. I'm not gonna win.
I don't know. Maybe you would be able to beat him if you were the same size as him. You're smarter.
He has a.
He has scales. Like if you punch him, you're gonna break your head.
So wait,
So it's
the
basically
suggestion is that,
Can you fight Godzilla? Basically.
but you can pass it on.
You can say no.
So why don't pass it on to actually somebody who would be good at
Give it to The
fighting?
Rock.
Like, yeah,
I
The
think-
Rock.
Although I would say if they did it with like Obama, that'd
I don't think that would.
no, because then we just have a giant Obama. That would be great.
Oh, that's right. So it's irreversible.
Yeah, no,
So
so
you're
you're
not
right.
only
No,
giving
that's the-
somebody some power, you're giving
It's
somebody
like-
Yeah.
that power
Like now,
forever.
after
Yes.
we beat Godzilla, we have to beat whatever we just did to that
Well,
person.
well, no, that's the only thing. Once you're done, you're just like a giant hero.
We have to
Like
rebuild
literally,
the city
you're
to
huge.
accommodate his
for all
needs.
of like 2 weeks until you die because there's not enough food in the world to sustain you at that size.
See, I think the world would accommodate their hero.
So
Well, no,
No.
the blood won't be able to pump to your heart.
So
You'll be
maybe-
dead.
So maybe
dead.
Like a
God's-
week.
No, your heart's going to be bigger, so you're.
Yeah,
you'll be
everything
okay.
grows.
Yeah, but including
The
your like
blood's-
appetite.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, maybe. So what we're learning is Godzilla isn't an evil monster. He's just hungry.
He's just really hungry.
He's just really mad.
He's misunderstood.
He needs a Snickers bar.
All right, I'm putting the official answer as no, passed on to Obama. What's next for the ForLoco squad?
Become 5 Loco. Oh, wait.
I think it's asking what like our plan is like after
Yeah,
graduation
we
or
become
something.
5 Loco.
Well, my plan is obviously to become a teacher. I don't know, like as a group or like individually.
Individually, I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know. As a group, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Probably write more books.
I'm trying to.
so.
We'll be like the Jonas Brothers. We'll make a comeback tour.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good plan. I'm trying to get a bunch of internships. I've applied to like 40 already, but
Isn't
LinkedIn-
that what you're... Never mind.
LinkedIn is awful, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why are you using it?
What? I don't know. It's like it's the best of the awful, I feel like. I don't know. There's Indeed.com. What's your go-to fast food place?
Ooh.
I'd say Wendy's lately because they have the 4 for $4, and that's just such a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Wendy's has been pretty consistent lately in their quality and their price.
Either Wendy's or Chick-fil-A.
What? He's judging us.
Yeah, that was a homophobic chicken place.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Tough.
No, listen. There's this piece of chicken, and if you eat it, you're homophobic, but it's delicious.
It is delicious.
I can't imagine that my mother's a dietitian, so we just didn't really do fast
Oh,
food
okay.
growing up, and I don't really have it now. I do like garbage food, but not fast food varieties.
What about like do you count Chipotle and stuff as fast food? Like,
I don't go to Chipotle.
what about Panera?
I don't go to Panera.
I'm just trying to think of chains.
Yeah, I mean, I make pizza all the time. I make ice cream often. Sometimes I eat pizza from places. Sometimes
He's too good for us.
It's not that I'm too good. I just eat other kinds of garbage.
First thing I thought it was gonna be left out. Like, sometimes I eat pizza after I make pizza
What about-
all the time. It's
In
like sometimes
college,
I
you
eat-
never like.
No, and in fact, a good friend of mine from college was just in town this weekend. I'm trying to get him to move to Philly, and we made this determination that was like, but we were just a bunch of fucking dopes. I don't know how we came up with this brilliant ass idea, but we decided it would be stupid. It's stupid for us to like spend money on like pizza or like fried chicken or whatever once a week or multiple times a week. What we should do is once a month we'll go to some like nice place and we'll try different kinds of food. So growing up, I never had Indian food. I never had Greek food. I never had any kind of like any interesting food. So in college, I got to try all kinds of stuff that way, and that was some of my favorite memories from college was going to restaurants that were definitely not anticipating like 3 schlubby 19-year-old dudes. And we went to so I went to school in Miami. So we went to Le Hall, which is it's the like Bourdain became famous working at the kitchen at Le Hall.
Huh?
And the waiter was so snooty to us. He was like, "And you'll be having tap water." Like that. It was so great.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's hardcore. I want one time like one of my friends' moms got like a $100 Groupon for like this really fancy restaurant in Philly. I wish I remembered what it was called, but we were like the only people there that night for some reason, and like two businessmen in the corner discussing some really serious stuff in their suits. But we all like just got like one order of every, and all the food was great. I had a Mediterranean salad. It was a salad with crab in it. It was great. But every time one of us went to the bathroom, our waiter would come over and fold our napkins into fancy arrangements.
Right. Yeah.
It was great. When I came back from the bathroom, I had like a flower on my seat.
Yeah, that's how you know you're in some place that really staffs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be uncomfortable sometimes.
It was a little uncomfortable.
There's a place not far from campus called Jansen, and that place is run by the chef who used to be the chef at the Four Seasons downtown, like super fancy, right? And Jansen is not that level of like expensive, but they still do the like fancy shit. And we went, my partner and I, like early on, and I ordered like soup, some sort of soup, and I always get uncomfortable at this stage. So somebody comes over and over my one shoulder and places like an empty soup bowl with some like things in the bottom, right?
Things.
Right, but it's dry. And then somebody comes over my other shoulder and has like a pitcher with the soup is in. So they're gonna like, so none of the like dry bits are gonna get soggy. They're gonna show me, hey, sir, don't worry. This is freshly saturated crouton or whatever. And then a third person came over and has just a plate, and they hold the plate vertically in front of me as they pour the soup so that it doesn't splash on me. So this person is my like splash guardian.
Some intense stuff right there.
And I just felt like I don't need all of this. This is just making me feel bad. Like I am not the kind of person that needs a shield guard.
Whenever I go to a restaurant with like other college students and they like are putting cheese on something and they always say just say when, for some reason no college student is capable at saying when at a reasonable time. So I feel like I always have to say when for other people, and they're like, I just didn't want to say it. Or like, why not? Maybe they you want that much cheese on your salad?
Maybe they just like cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know. People go extreme. I don't know why it's so uncomfortable to say when.
All of the cheese.
Let's see. Next question. So really, no fast food. You don't even go Dunkin' Donuts, like in the morning if you're in a rush.
No.
He eats his bananas.
I eat a banana in the morning.
Yeah, all right, reasonable. A bunch of famous Toms are in a dirt arena in a fight to the death with nothing but their bare fists. Who wins and why? I would just like to say, before we get into this question, it's nice that people didn't change the type of questions they ask just because Michael was the guest.
I was going to say...
Well, I was nervous about, like, throwing off your vibe. But nope.
All right, Toms. Tom Cruise would lose.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Tom from Tom and Jerry. Because, like, think of all this stuff.
Wait. I think Thomas the Tank Engine might be able to take him.
He is a giant tank engine.
If Thomas the Tank Engine was a tank, it would be a different kind of show. Just crushing Chinese protesters.
Getting beefed up for the match. He had to prepare.
The blitzkrieg going through.
Yeah.
Easy. Thomas the Tank Engine is such a weird show.
Yeah.
Like, there's an evil train.
There's runs over people.
I have a
George
complaint.
Carlin is in it.
He's the evil train?
No, George Carlin was Mr. Conductor before Ringo Starr.
Oh, yeah, I knew Ringo Starr was, yeah.
I have a complaint about them. His name is Thomas. This is asking for Toms.
Oh, all right. That's a reasonable counterpoint. Thomas the Tank Engine is out of the game.
So who's in the...
Tom Hanks is in the running.
Tom Baker.
Tom Hardy.
Tom
Baker. Tom
the cat.
Tom the cat, yeah. I might give it to Tom Hardy if this is the group of contenders.
I mean, wasn't there a boxer, Thomas Hearns?
Oh, the actual fighter.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a guy on the Mets named Tom. I don't know his last name.
It counts.
I feel like there's a lot of famous sports people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just give it to Tom Hanks because no one will want to hurt him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
all right.
I don't know. Is it like Tom Hanks voice acting for Woody, so it's actually Woody, or is it Tom?
No,
Hanks
it's just Tom Hanks. Why would Woody? Why are we putting Woody in here?
He's throwing Woody dolls at people.
All right. Which is better, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, or Cartoon Network?
What era are we talking?
Well, I have an answer.
All right.
Regardless of the era, Cartoon Network always delivered until a certain point. it was always consistent.
I will give that.
Do you have any opinion on this, Michael?
Not really. I mean, I watched Nickelodeon when they had like Dennis the Menace reruns on it. Enjoyed that. I mean, Ren and Stimpy was a influence on me. That was good. No. What was on top? I guess Cartoon Network had Space Ghost. I enjoyed Space Ghost.
I feel like Austin said, Cartoon Network's been consistent, but I think Nickelodeon had a higher peak point than Cartoon Network. Like Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob.
You see, but I would say of all that stuff, though, really only, in my opinion, only SpongeBob and Cat Dog hold up still today.
Jimmy Neutron still holds up today.
I disagree. I think it's actually trash when watching
the
now.
memes have influenced you.
I mean, I think like... Okay, this is the thing about Jimmy Neutron. Sheen and Carl Weezer and New Neutron are all great, but Jimmy Neutron is so unbearable.
That's why he's got characters to balance him out. That's why it's a show.
Oh, but I can't stand it. Like the second it's just Jimmy on screen, I want to turn it off.
Sodium chloride, man.
God damn it.
All right.
I want to go back to this whole Tom Hanks with Woody thing for a second.
Oh my God.
So I was in Walmart, and as Austin and Paulie know, I like to like peruse the toy section because like that's like the most entertaining aisle in any given store. Toy Story toys are terrible. Like, do you guys remember when we were like little? Like, it'd be a toy.
They were
Woody
actually
doll,
toys.
No, you could buy the legit Woody doll at Toy Story, at Toys R Us.
It's like a small, crappy thing made of plastic. Like the whole thing. It's like it's not Woody. It's like a piece of junk.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like Cars toys have outsold Toy Story toys like 2 times over.
That's concerning.
No, like Cars toys are like crazy popular. And you know what the thing like, and the thing about Cars toys is like they can sell you Lightning McQueen, right? Like every kid wants Lightning McQueen, but then they can also just sell every single car that appears in the background at any given point and just give them a name like Tooter Magooter. And I know this because the kids come and they're like, here's Lightning McQueen, and here's Max, and here's John, and here's Claire, and I'm like, whoa.
Lightning McQueen's the only one we care about.
Yeah, right? And
what's the tow truck?
Mater.
Yeah, Mater's good.
He can drive backwards.
I mean, he's voiced by Larry the Cable Guy.
My mother is a big Mater, the tow truck fan.
Really? That's interesting.
I don't know why.
My mom had a phase where she was really into Minions, but she got over it, thank God.
Moms do love Minions.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about moms and Minions. It's not like they're like they like something about them like appeals to the mom demographic.
It's just a lot of silliness.
Yeah. Also, there's all those memes on Facebook where like it'll have like text and then a picture of a minion having nothing to do with the text.
The minion is like telling
it's just there.
Snowflakes.
Yeah, it's like in my kitchen we clean the plates up afterwards, and it's a minion going like with his hands on his hips or something.
Going Binkborg.
Yeah.
I just want to like highlight that point of like Woody toys are like crappy. I just want to make sure we got that out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
M&Ms or Skittles? M&Ms.
Didn't
M&Ms.
we answer this already?
You had a long discussion of M&Ms in the last episode, as I recall.
Yeah, I believe so.
If you could just buy red Skittles, just red, then we may have a contest here. But
no, M&Ms are great.
M&Ms have more variety.
Have you had those new? They're like the new chocolate bars with M&Ms in them. Ooh, they're good.
I was skeptical because like I usually just eat M&Ms.
I was like, it's just gonna be a Crunch bar, but no, it's different. It's different. It's better.
It's better.
They have Reese's cups with little mini pieces.
I wouldn't know. That would kill me.
Yeah, they have that too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would die. Oh my God! The other night I was just really in the mood for chocolate. Like I just wanted something chocolate, and we had none in the house. And my roommate Amara and her boyfriend Jim were going out to 7-Eleven to like buy something, and I was like, "Oh, well, you just pick me up any chocolate bar."
I see where this
is
going.
He comes back and he has a Snickers, and I'm like, "No, I can't eat that." And I had the craving for the next day. All right, we're on the last 3 questions.
Whoa.
How does it feel to be on the final episode?
Is it final? Unless we call it final?
I mean, it's like final in the sense that like there's not another Loco Mag publishing date, so there's not like an official date to put another episode out. Not to say we can't do another episode, but it's final in that sense. So how does it feel?
It's final. It's finally final.
Nick, how do you feel?
Words of wisdom always from Austin. It's a little sad. This is a nice break from
the mundane features of life.
Yeah. I feel like I'm still too far away from graduation to be sentimental yet, but like it's definitely gonna hit me like a truck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested as to your as you're recalling your Loco Mag time. What are your memories about starting with it?
A lot of putting stuff together more so than just casual. Like,
meaning what?
Because we were more narrative research based in the beginning episodes. And then
right.
Right.
You're talking about the podcast, yeah.
I didn't necessarily mean the podcast, but you did. You guys did all those.
And I really liked that stuff. It's just with my current lifestyle, I just can't spend 3 hours a week researching Papa John.
Right. You got to do it.
Unfortunately, the best.
You got to spend all that time watching videos on YouTube.
No. Ideally, I would love if this could be like a middle ground.
There's a melee player named Papa John's.
That's
watch
crazy.
him sometimes.
Also, Austin never did any research.
Hey, you spreading that lie again? I did research.
We would spend 15 minutes.
You yourself admitted on this very episode YouTube is research. Are you contradicting your own words?
All right.
There you go.
Do you ever listen to that podcast, The Dollop?
Oh, yeah. I have listened to that one.
So
that one's kind of hit and miss for me.
I love that. I just decide which ones I'm interested in.
That's the one where there's a comedian and he... there's a comedian and a guy, a researcher, and every week he researches a historical subject, and then he relays the history of it to the comedian who doesn't really know the history.
Right. I think they're both comedians, but
okay.
One of them does all the research,
yeah, okay.
The other one doesn't.
Yeah, that was basically me and Austin, except I didn't know Austin wasn't doing the research.
I was doing the research. I looked up stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Are people going to believe you or me?
Are people going to believe that a person said, yeah, I did the research, I went on YouTube? Yes, I will believe that.
There we go.
Yeah.
See,
I've taught enough classes in here.
We have one believer.
Yeah.
Well, you were asking about Loco Mag as a whole, though, right?
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning, I was much more timid.
Yes.
But I don't think I, as a person, was actually more timid. I think I was just not. I don't know. I feel like I'm. No, actually, I feel like I was as a person more timid. I don't know. And I definitely didn't write the things I actually wanted to write. Which.
You did a lot of just film stuff back then.
Yeah, which was stuff I enjoyed, but it felt more of a class assignment. And that's not to say I don't really enjoy writing film stuff now, but as I got in my junior and senior year, I would say Loco Mag sort of became an experimental outlet.
Yeah.
And writing film stuff isn't necessarily experimental for me.
Right.
So it was more of let me write a 1,300 personal essay about why getting your tongue stuck on an ice cube is really transformative as a process.
That's a great article.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing I've ever written. And then this year, I unfortunately didn't really do much article writing just because of life. I felt but I feel like I treated the podcast as enough of a side project that it
a supplement.
Yeah, it sufficed my urge to create. I feel like.
What is your favorite piece that you've done, Austin? Or was it when we kept telling you that you had imaginary friends in Canada?
It might have been that one.
Yeah.
When I started out, I feel like I was trying too hard to make the articles fit the theme.
Right.
And they weren't really they were fun, but it wasn't really they were trying too hard to fit the theme. It wasn't really too expressive. Now that I've been forced back on the team,
God forbid.
God forbid. I feel like I have a bit more freedom with that. I don't know if that's just because of the people around me or the structure it or the leadership, or even just the themes itself. But I feel like there's more creative freedom in my articles.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I at some point I just became super experimental. And I don't really, and in a way I would actually I've actually thought about this, and I would like to return to a form I guess of normal content. I'm happy I did that with my thesis. My thesis is fairly normal films, because I feel like in sophomore year I made that video where I killed the person.
Was that sophomore year or was that last year?
No, that was I forget. Was it? I think it was sophomore year. I think it was.
That's where all your friends were furious with you.
They still
some of them
still hate
yeah. And I don't know why I did that.
I'm pretty sure I thought that was last
year. No, you went to the candlelight vigil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so awkward.
I know it was. I was there.
And you didn't know why it was so awkward.
You told me
Oh,
halfway through.
Oh yeah, I told you early because nobody else showed up.
You
Everyone else
whispered
showed up
right
late.
here, and then when
Yeah.
we gathered around you,
Oh my God, it was crazy.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And I had to smile.
You're like, I don't know
Or
why
just,
I
like,
did that.
pretend to
Force
cry.
him to smile.
Like I was like, and like you're like to Yunsuck and Chris who were right next to
Oh,
me. You're
no.
like, you want to say some words, and like I had to like
Oh,
bite back
no.
and laugh.
Oh my God,
No.
Yunsuck just says I didn't know him, but I'm sure he was a good guy. They did not know. Yeah, that was weird.
So you're only proving you're a terrible person.
I don't think that makes me a terrible
We spent
person.
The theme of this season has been Paulie's a terrible person.
Eh.
You literally took the kindness of people's hearts.
And smashed it. Like,
Smashed it.
didn't the guy whose picture you used like give you flack for it
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, I sent it to him on Twitter because I thought he might think it's funny, and he was like, "This was irresponsible, immature." Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Oh wow, the next question. Do you think Paulie is a murderer?
Yes.
Yes.
At some point in his life or in the future, yes.
Do you think I'm gonna murder somebody?
Yes.
Wait, so he will be a murderer.
Over Melee, he's gonna do it at some
I'm not
point.
gonna. I don't get salt. I don't get mad about it. It's just a game. I would not murder
Let's
somebody.
look at his smile.
I would not murder somebody.
As he smiles.
As he smirks.
I'm always smiling.
So wait, if you are not a murderer or would not be a murderer, what is the highest level crime that you can imagine yourself
Well,
perpetrating?
we got kidnapped.
Multiple
It's
kidnapping.
Like, where does
Um,
that fall in the
He's also
spectrum?
done torture.
Torture, waterboarding, which is like international crime.
That's a crime right there.
I would-
Nobody prosecutes torturers. Let's-
Yeah.
True, that's fair.
I would definitely be willing to perform a heist for some
heist?
type of film purpose.
Okay.
Like absolutely.
like a casino heist, but give the money back after.
No, I would give the money to somebody who like needs it. You know,
So the film crew.
like maybe like Native Americans. Like they've been kind of, you know.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
they're the ones
Yeah.
that own like the casinos.
Yeah,
like-
but they do that because they like needed a way to
What
like
if
sustain themselves in America,
What if you ran a heist on a Native American casino?
and then
Then
they get the insurance money, and
Yo,
then you
that'd
donate
be
the
good.
money back.
Chill-
Oh, that'd
That's
be good.
another film right there.
That'd
Yeah.
be good.
that's complicated.
Yeah. We were talking. This isn't a heist, but it is my friend and I, who was a good friend of mine from college, always shared our favorite fraud or our favorite schemes. And my favorite historical scheme is when the U.S. government wanted to circulate more Sacagawea quarters and state quarters. Do you guys know about this?
No.
Amazing. So
You're the
they
history
wanted
major,
these,
right?
they wanted
That's
more
what
of
we
these
learned
coins in circulation. So they said, hey, anybody who wants these state quarters or these Sacagawea coins, just order them online. We will ship them to you for free. So all these people just put whatever the maximum amount on all of their airline or points credit cards. They bought all of these quarters and then immediately just wheeled them into their bank and just deposited it, paid off their credit cards, and got zillions of airline points or whatever.
Amazing.
Great scheme.
There was just a video. Excuse me. There was just a video I saw of these guys at McDonald's, and you know how McDonald's have the new touch screens now. So when you order a McChicken is only $1, right? And at the touchscreen, you can take off or add any ingredient. So what these guys did, they ordered 10 McChickens, and they take off the meat. So it's just a bun and lettuce and mayo. So it's just a bun, lettuce, and mayo. And when you take off the meat, the McChicken goes down to only 10 cents. And then they order another McChicken with the chicken. And then they use a coupon that takes $1 off each McChicken or something, so they end up getting one McChicken for free, and 10 empty buns. Yeah, and they actually showed it, and they actually got all the buns with the lettuce and tomato and
I'm sure they did.
I feel like I would just walk up and say, "Don't actually put those through. Don't do that.
just give me the one
Just give me
McChicken
the
you
one
own."
McChicken."
Give me the one McChicken, or I will force you to give me 10
Yeah, 'cause I mean,
mayonnaise buns.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a hostage situation right now.
We can do this. Listen, pal, we can do this the easy way, or the hard way.
You and I both know you don't want to take the chicken off those buns. Just give me the one, and let's call it a day.
Oh, there's one other one I know. It was these guys. They like developed like a hack on like ATM machines or something that made it read like $20 bill. No, it made it read $100 bills as $20 bills, and it was something that like, and the only time they ever did it was on Halloween.
Nick's face right
So they would already be in costume, and they would like withdraw like $100, but it would give them $500.
That's clever.
No. Yeah, and they only ever did it on Halloween. They did get caught eventually. There's like some documentary
Yeah,
about
because
it.
it's like highly illegal to do that.
Oh yeah,
It's the
absolutely.
difference of like, oh, I want one free.
But I mean, it's hard to
chicken
I wonder.
$500.
I wonder if them being in Halloween costumes. I guess that helped, right? Like that must
Yeah,
have
if
helped.
they were just dressed as robbers.
It's like for robber any other day of the week.
Yeah, right.
It's just part of our act, guys. It's part of the plan.
And just put it into their Halloween giant sack with a dollar sign.
It's
on
candy.
The side.
All right, we are up to the last question. Where is Michael's favorite place to read and/or write?
Not the stairwell.
Yeah, not the stairwell. I just passed through it. My favorite place to read or write. Well, I do have a home office, home library that I do most of my writing in now. But most of the time, in terms of like research or anything like that, things are good for like 3 months, and then like the spot wears off. So I gotta like go to a new like library. I gotta go to a new coffee shop. I can't stay anywhere.
Well, what is it right now?
Right now, I'm using my home
I see.
library.
All right. Now, that's all the official questions, but I have a question for you, Michael.
Okay.
I want to know, what was your reaction in real time when you opened Twitter and you saw that I had made a movie trailer
Oh, my
about you
goodness.
missing?
Well,
Where's Michael?
that was fantastic. I was delighted by it, and I had actually been, I was coming back from sabbatical, and I'd been sort of like, I don't know how I feel about coming back. I didn't get as much work done as I wanted to, and then I saw that video, and I was like, oh, right, yeah, this is going to be great, because there's all these like delightful weirdos.
You've saved this man's career.
No, it's true. I felt it made it. I was literally feeling bad, and then I saw it, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is so funny, and delightful."
Life-changing.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
That was just like,
I wore the sambas.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will say, just a small note. It is not grumpier old men too. It's just grumpier old men, because the first one is grumpy old men. Yeah.
Darn it.
Sorry.
That's all right. You know, every trailer has a
Post
flop.
edit.
Yeah. There
Deleted
is a
scenes.
moment in that trailer that I do think is like sublime comedy. And that's when Aaron says like, I saw your ad in the paper. And you just give like a little nod. And it's so fucking funny. It's so good, that nod. And it's just...
I'm reading the
whole
newspaper
thing.
when I
That's
do it,
right,
yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
Nick has yet to see this trailer, hasn't
You've
he?
never seen it?
I saw it when it went on Twitter.
Yeah.
and I clicked on
Nick
it to
follows
watch
me on
it,
Twitter.
And then Austin distracted me.
Oh my gosh.
All part of the plan.
9 times out of 10, if I'm gonna watch something, Austin or Kristen will say something, and I'll just like completely forget what I
Part
was
of the
doing.
plan.
That has like 1,000 views, which I think is funny because that means it definitely extended at least somewhat beyond like the Arcadia world.
Well, I put it on.
Yeah.
I shared it somewhere, and then my dissertation director shared it with like his people.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Do we have any final notes we'd like to add before we sign off?
See us for season 3.
I think there should be a season 3. I'm a big advocate of that.
I think that like this is like a thing I've always had about like all forms of content is like I feel like things need to end way sooner than they do generally, and like I'm not opposed to like continuing like even just the 3 of us doing this, but I feel like the concept
can't
of
last
ForLoco, like this concept. Yeah, like this concept needs to end, I feel like, and I feel like a new concept needs to be born, because I feel like so many things run too long.
Well, even then, if this does continue, it'll be new people, so that alone's already...
Yeah,
a
like
start.
that, like that's fine, but I feel like for like my journey with this thing is coming to a close, because I feel like my journey with this thing is attached to Arcadia University.
I see. So you're just gonna like do a new podcast in which you talk about your esports
Yeah.
strategies.
I could do that, yeah.
these two accuse you of committing crimes.
Yeah, pretty much.
the whole time.
Yeah. It could be, the whole thing could be, is Paulie a criminal?
Paulie Polito murders Melee player in EVO 2019. See it here first, folks.
Except Melee's not at EVO 2019.
Is it though?
It's
Is it
not.
hidden from
That's
the
why he's
folks?
going to murder someone.
Exactly.
It's not that
Yeah.
great.
You're already predicting your own future.
Also, the film idea with the Chinese philosophical.
That's good, yeah. I need to
That's
write that
legit your
down.
first
I was
film.
thinking, like as each scene of the movie, there'll be like 18 of them. Where like after like the lesson happens with the philosophical thing, like the next day he takes the test and that's the one he gets right, or
That's right, yeah.
she gets
And
right.
just to
Doesn't
make it a
matter who.
challenge for yourself, the film has to be 180 minutes.
Oh my god. There was this
Ooh.
kid in that class too. His name was Alessandro. He was just a loud guy, and he would always sit next to me every single time. And my nickname in high school was Pippi, and he would always go, "Let's see how many you get today, Pippi." And I'd be like, "Oh my god,
That's a
shut up,
character.
Alessandro."
That is a character right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I hated. I mean, he was actually a friend, but I hated him when that happened.
It's
All
nice
right.
to see we end on a good note.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Michael.
Well,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
joining
I think
Yeah,
that your
thank you.
presence is going to raise the amount of views that this episode
More
gets.
than Kristen's episode.
I don't know. The Kristen episode, for some reason, has
It's
like
like the
110
She
views.
claims it's because of her.
And it also, like you know how you can check how long people actually watch it for?
Mm.
It's like 33 minutes. Like, people in general seem to watch the majority of it. I don't know what it is about Kristen.
Were we just that funny that day?
I don't know.
I think we're funny.
It
every
was
day.
not that.
Oof.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael, for joining us.
Thank you.
Seriously, it was
Thanks
fun.
for inviting me.
And I guess, well, this could potentially be one of the last times that we sign off. So
It's very sad.
I'm Paulie.
I'm Austin
I'm Nick.
I'm Michael.
for the last time.
Possibly.
Maybe you have to get Amara on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, we do.
Bye-bye.
Bonus episode.